Wristbanditis strikes again! Hey there YouTube, it's me TFO Wilderness. Welcome to my channel and welcome to my haul video for TFNation 2024. Right, yes, I had a bumper haul as usual, and yeah, I better get on with it and show you what I got. But before we get into things, a little bit of a disclaimer up front. Obviously the haul you're about to see is very big, very impressive, and it's got a lot of big expensive bots in it, and I can afford to buy this amount of stuff every year because I save up the money over the course of the year before the event in order to buy the things that I buy at the convention. You know, I put a little bit of money aside every month. In fact, I'm saving up for next year's TFNation right now, and then that allows me to have a big wad of cash I can take to the convention, and it gives me options. It gives me options to buy all the figures I could possibly want, you know, from the biggest, most expensive masterpiece or third-party offerings to the smallest, piddly little, you know, official or knockoff bots. It gives me a wide range of money to buy all the stuff I want to buy, and this year was no exception. Another thing I want to say, a bit of housekeeping. Now, this year's convention was somewhat different than ones I've done in the past, and the reason being was, now, I've just talked about, you know, taking a lot of money as my spending cash to the convention, but the actual cost of the convention was very much on my mind this year, because last year I went to TFNation, I went whole hog. I bought, you know, from the Friday through to the Sunday, I bought early access, you know, ClubCon, and the whole 9 yards. And that came to £155 just for the event ticket, and then you had to put on top of that the hotel room booking for a single room rate at the TFNation special rate. Last year, the Hilton Hotel decided to ramp up massively the room price for the booking the hotel room, and in 2022 it was £78 per night for a single room, but in 2023 it was £100 per room for a single night. You know. Yeah, so they bumped it up by £22. I don't know what the you know, from £78 to 100. I don't know what the percentages of the increase, but it's way above inflation. But it was a £22 increase, and I was very unhappy about that last year. And this year I decided, you know, sod that. I'm not giving in to, you know, because it was £105 this year. I'm not giving the Hilton over, you know, 200 quid for, you know, 2 nights in a hotel room. So this year I decided to do things a little different. I've decided to strip back my convention, go back, you know, right back to the bare bones, and all I paid for was the Saturday and the Sunday ticket. I did not do the Friday, hence the reason why I wasn't in the bar on Friday night, because I wasn't staying in the hotel, and there's no point in me driving over to the hotel and just hanging out in the bar, knowing that I had to go home again, and then, you know, I wouldn't be able to drink or anything, and there was no point in doing it. Obviously, as I didn't stay over in the hotel, I wasn't in the bar Saturday night either, and so yeah, I didn't put myself about as much socially this weekend as I would do normally, because I wasn't staying in the hotel. I was actually, because I live about 15 miles away from the convention site, I was able to commute to and from the convention every day, and it was kind of strange, because obviously I went home on the Saturday and then I came back on the Sunday, and yeah, so it was a very, very unusual convention, but I decided just to cut back costs for the actual convention massively, and I cut it down to the bare bones basics, and yeah, that's the reason why I had the event that I had. I mean, I was operating out a car in the car park. I wasn't operating out of a hotel room. I bought a packed lunch each day, so at lunchtime I'd go and sit in my car and eat my packed lunch, and then go back in for like the afternoon session. It worked quite well for me. I mean, Yeah, I had a bit of thing with the car parking. I managed to get the special rate for the car parking on the Saturday, but on the Sunday, for some reason, because of an anomaly, they charged me full whack for 24 hours parking. You know, they charged me 36 quid for parking on the Sunday, whereas it only cost me £18 on the Saturday. But such as it is, it's a damn sight cheaper than getting a room at the Hilton. Don't know what I'm going to do next year. I might stay in the Hilton next year, but I might just do the Saturday night. I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm going to do next year. But anyway, it was a much more straightforward convention. Basically, I got there just after 9 o'clock. Went to get my my passes. So I got my passes and my program, and then I went into the main hall. Sat through the opening ceremony, and then when that finished, I went stood in the queue. And as I didn't pay for early access, I was in the main access queue, which didn't open. Well, the doors didn't open at 10:45, so I had a long wait standing in the queue, and it moved up a little bit, but eventually, just after 10:45, we got in. Right, now this year didn't really have much of a game plan going into the convention. There was a few things that I wanted to get if I saw them, but didn't really have a massive idea of what I was going to get. But because, you know, I take lots of money to these conventions, it gives me the option to buy anything that takes my fancy. One thing though, my first purchase of the weekend, one thing that I had sort of seen coming up to the event that I wanted to get was these Blokees or Blokees kits, you know, robot kits, action figure kits, where you get like a blind box, you open it up, you empty out the parts, and you put it together, and there's a character from, you know, G1 Transformers or whatever. And I've seen recently they got the Galaxy version 4, you know, blocky sets, and there was a few characters in there that I quite like, and I wanted to get them. But there was one character in particular I wanted to get, and that was Tarn, because I'd seen a video on YouTube from MangNotion where he did the blocky Wave 4. Galaxy Wave 4 sets, and he built them up in, you know, stop motion. But when he got to Tarn, he built it up, and then he transformed him into a kind of like his alt mode, and then it drove off screen. And I thought, oh, you can transform it. It actually transforms. So that was why I wanted to get it. But I didn't want to, you know, just take a risk at just buying, because they're blind boxes or, you know, blind bags. You know, you get 9 in a box, and, you know, it's complete random which one you're going to pick. So I decided, I went in to see, because the you know, the Blokees table was right in front of the entrance, so I walked straight over, went over to him. After, you know, he was talking with another customer. When I got in there, I had a word with the chap. I explained, you know, what I wanted to do. I wanted to get the Tarn figure, but, you know, I can't, you know, they were like, what, they're $7.99 each, but I think it was 65 quid for a box. So what I decided to do was buy a whole box. So I bought a whole box of the Blokees, and as you can see, each box has got a number on it. So when I got home, I got some stickers and I numbered them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1 to 9. No, left to right, front to back. And then what I did was I then got a random number generator on my phone, and I picked a box at random, and then I opened them up to see which one it was. So the first one I picked was number 9, which was Hook. Then it was number 2, which was Snarl Dino mode. Then it was number 7, box number 7, which was Snarl Robot mode. Then it was box number 8, Nemesis Prime. Box number 6 was Tarn. Box number 3 was Smokescreen. Box number 5 was Scrapper. Box number 4 was Shockwave, and box number 1 was Ultra Magnus. And when I got home on the Saturday night after, you know, going to the convention, I decided to build a couple of the blocky kits. Now I wanted to do Tarn first, because obviously he was the reason why I bought this box set. And I built him. So there's Tarn. And yeah, he doesn't transform really. I looked closely at that video that transformed it, and the guy fudged it. When I messed with the figure, to get it to transform in the way it does in the video, you have to take bits off and sort of plug them on, and like I said, you had to take the chest piece off, and he's like stick it on the front in like with some blue tack and stuff like that. And to get the legs to fold up, you have to disassemble the waist joint, and it's parts forming and you know, photo trickery that he did to make it transform in the video. So My reason for buying this set is null and void, but I bought it anyway. So I built him on the Saturday, so I built Tarn. And then the next one I decided to build was Shockwave, because when I opened it, I found out that I'd got the limited edition shiny Shockwave. So yeah, yeah, this is a limited edition, which when you look on the side of the box, it says we've got Shockwave 1 of 12, but then it says Shockwave Secret, or shiny limited edition Shockwave 1 of 36. So I got lucky. I got the shiny Shockwave. And when I went back on the Sunday, I put this in my bag and I took it back with me on the Sunday, and I went over to the Blokees stall and I showed it to the bloke. I said, "Oh look, I got the limited edition and lucky Shockwave," and he was quite surprised, and I let him take a picture of it, so because he'd never actually seen one in the flesh before or in the plastic. So yeah, I got that. And then the rest of the boxes, I built them on the Sunday morning because I got up early. On the Sunday morning, I decided I can't be bothered to go to bed. It's too early to have breakfast, so I sat down and I built the rest of them. Now, I timed myself building these figures, and Tarn and Shockwave, they took about 15 to 14 minutes to do. But as the more of them I did, the quicker I got, and towards the end, I was knocking them out in like 7 to 8 minutes. So they're quite simple to build. You get the large bag with all the main parts, and then you get a small bag with the runner sprues with the joint pieces and the hands on, and then you just clip them off, put them together, and just put them all together. And if you've got a modicum of modelling skills, like you said, you can knock these things out in like 12 to 8 minutes. Anyway, so I decided to build the rest of them, starting off with Ultra Magnus. Obviously he's one of my favourite characters, so if I'd have been trying to get Tarn on his own, I would have done just picked blind boxes at random, and if I hadn't got Tarn straight away and I'd got an Ultra Magnus instead, then I wouldn't have been too upset about that. But anyway, got Ultra Magnus. Then it was Scrapper. He was the next figure to get done. And it was Smokescreen, and Smokescreen's quite easy one to do. I did him in like 7 minutes, so he was like a really quick one to put together. Then it was Hook. Then Nemesis Prime. Again, another character that I'm a fan of. Black Nemesis. I'm not really a fan of vanilla Optimus Prime. I prefer my Optimus molds to be painted either white or black. So yeah, I got a Nemesis Prime. He's a pretty cool figure. And then it was the Snarls. I finished off with the Snarl, Robot Snarl, and then Dino Snarl. So you've got both versions of Snarl, his Alt mode and his Robot mode. That's pretty cool. So got those guys. They were my first purchase on the Saturday morning when I came into the hall. And yeah, I want to try and get this video. I've got a lot to get through. Let's get this thing wound up. So then I went over to In Demand. And obviously, because I didn't do early access, a lot of certain characters had sold out already. Like Legacy United Vector Prime, he'd already gone. I think there was a few others there. I don't know whether there was any Legacy United hot shots there. I don't know whether they had any of those. I didn't see anybody with hot shot at the weekend, but anyway, so I missed out on that. But they did have a few figures that I wanted. So from In Demand, I managed to pick up Legacy United Shard and Studio Series Rise of the Beasts Scorponok. So I got them from In Demand. And that was those guys. Then it was over to the Primetime Toy Store, because there was a big third-party figure that I had my eye on getting. Now, at a TFNation a couple of years back, I bought the Robot Paradise cassettes. Rumble. Was it Rumble, Ravage and Laserbeak, but I didn't have a Robot Paradise acoustic wave to go with them, and I've been in the market for getting an acoustic wave, but the original issue sold out and you know, people was asking silly scalper prices for it, and then they said they were going to reissue it, but at a slightly higher price. And I had it. I was looking to buy an acoustic wave of some description. Anyway, went up to see my mate Greg and Moff on the Prime Times toy store, and I looked at the back and I see they'd got you know, Fans Toys and Robot Paradise figures on the back, and they had both the Acoustic Wave and Acoustic Blaster. Now, Acoustic Blaster was slightly cheaper than the Acoustic Wave. They're asking 200 for the Acoustic Wave, but 170 for the Acoustic Blaster. And I thought, you know what? I haven't got a Sound Blaster figure. I haven't got a black Sound Wave. So, my most expensive purchase all weekend, I got Robot Paradise Acoustic Blaster. I mainly bought him because, well, he comes with Night Bat, he comes with Rat Bat. And so that's a different, you know, cassette minion to go with this figure. Yeah, like I said, I've been after one. They had both of them. This one was slightly cheaper, and I realised I haven't got a black Soundwave in my collection, so it made perfect sense to me to get this guy. And like I said, he was the most expensive figure that I bought all weekend. So next, so that was that. Then it was actually next door to Primetime Toys. They had another stall that was sort of behind them on the corner called Junk Shop Japan, and there was a couple of these Japanese blokes who had a lot of like Japanese exclusive stuff on their table, and I noticed they'd got some of the new Takara Earthspark Deluxe figures on their stall, and they had Jawbreaker, Aftermath, and Hashtag. But here they were asking 50 quid each for them, and these are basically deluxe figures, and I was a bit, they're kind of pricey, but they are Japanese exclusives. They've got the Japanese exclusive, you know, paintwork on them, and I was looking at them and thinking, you know, 150 quid for 3 deluxes, that's a lot of money. So instead I decided to just get 2 of them, and the ones I went for was Aftermath and Jawbreaker. And Jawbreaker, I mean, this guy's like, look how this is a deluxe figure. He looks like he's super girthy for starters. He's like really thick and chunky, and you know, you look at him and he's like, I mean, he's pretty big actually for a deluxe. I never got the Warrior class Jawbreaker. I wanted to get a deluxe one because the the Warrior class one's got no paint on it and very limited articulation. So I wanted to get a proper one. So I got this guy, and I'm really looking forward to opening this guy. And obviously I've got Aftermath as well. Again, they were £50 each, which is a lot of money for a deluxe figure. But you know, it's not the most expensive deluxe figure I bought this weekend. So there we go. I bought those guys from Junk Shop Japan. Then I went around to Kapow and was looking over the Kapow store, looking for things to buy, and I noticed something that I wanted to get. Now, I'd seen this figure on other stalls and they were asking what, like 120, 130 quid for it, and I thought, I'm not paying that. But then I went into the Kapow stand and they had it for 65 quid. Takara Lunar Cruiser Prime. It's Takara Lunar Cruiser Prime, not Optimus Prime. So it's just a... I like the look of this. I'm kind of interested in the current sort of space race we've got going on with, you know, SpaceX and Blue Origin and Ariane and Roscosmos and Jaxa. You know, all the other, you know, international, you know, space companies and you know, commercial space industry that's putting stuff. I'm really interested in, you know, space at the moment. It's pretty cool. And of course, you know, Jaxa put this design out for this this moon rover. Pretty cool. And so Takara did a licensed transforming version of it, which looks pretty cool. And I decided to get it because I think it looks really awesome, and it's got the Jaxa logo on it. You know, what was it? Japanese Aerospace and Exploration Association or something like that. I think that's what it stands for. But yeah, so I got that from In Demand. Pretty happy with that. Then next it was, yes, it was this. It was the TFNation tour t-shirt. You know, the usual black t-shirt with all, you know, the logo on the front and all the tour info on the back. Yeah, I pre-ordered it when I got my tickets before the convention, obviously, and I just was, you know, reminding myself in the afternoon session to go over to the TFNation merch table to pick up my t-shirt that I bought. So that was the next thing that I got, but it was already prepaid. I'd already you know, paid for it beforehand. Right, then I went to In Demand, and as luck would have it, they had a restock in the afternoon. They had a small restock of the Legacy United Vector Primes. When I got round to the store on Saturday afternoon, they only had one left. So I got the last one in the hall on the Saturday. It's Vector Prime. It's my boy Vector Prime. I like Vector Prime from, you know, Cybertron or Galaxy Force. I really like him as a character. Yes, it's a heavy repaint retool of the Jaxa mold, but the Jaxa mold is really good. Yes, maybe they should have done, you know, they should have given him his own mold, really, instead of just, you know, reusing another mold. I get that some people aren't happy about that, but I don't know, for what it is, it's all right. And I wanted to get him because it's Vector Prime. And as inappropriate as this mold is for Vector Prime, I'm still okay with it. I still wanted it, and I was fortunate enough to pick up the last one in the hall on the Saturday afternoon from In Demand. And then it was like, I didn't have, I mean, what I did was, I always split my budget, you know, between Saturday and Sunday, right down the middle. And because I was commuting from home, I left the rest of my budget at home. So I only had the Saturday budget to play with. So if I wanted to buy anything else expensive, I didn't have much money left. So I was looking around, and I hadn't, at this point, I hadn't been over to, you know, the Toy Food stall. Hadn't been over to Toy Food to buy anything. And you know, Toy Food, as we know, and this weekend especially, they busted records. You know, they got, like, they busted the what was it, the £20,000, was it? Oh no, £200,000 mark for, you know, for all time, didn't they? 216 grand they got, and they, how did they get? Was it 30 odd grand on the? Well, whatever the figures, you can go online and look at the figures, but they did really, really well. And, you know, if you go to TFNation or any of the other associated events, you know, you've got to buy something from the Toy Food table, because it all goes to charity at the end of the day. And to be honest, I'd watched that video that Few Adams did a few days before, or the week before, where he did the stock check with Matey, and went through everything that they were going to put on the stall. And I noticed they had some Web Divers figures. Now, I was in the market to get a couple of Web Divers characters that I haven't got. I've got some Web Divers figures, but there's a couple of others that I want. And while I was waiting in the queue on Saturday morning to go in, one of the guys came round and had a quick chat with me. And Andy, anyway, he's got a Scottish guy. I think he works on the Toy Food stall, or he's one of the TFNation you know, team. But anyway, I was talking to him, and I was asking him about, you know, I want some of the Web Divers figures, and I said I wanted Jaguar and Wyverian. Have you got them in the hall? So he went and asked, and apparently they didn't have them. And if they did have them, they went early doors, they went early access. So if they did have them, they went. By the time I got into the hall, they'd already gone. So I was a bit disappointed at that. So I was scanning over the Toy Food table many times over the course of the weekend, and I only actually found one item that I wanted to buy. And this was on the last thing I bought on the Saturday. Power Core Combiner's Skyhammer. So he's a Power Core Combiner because he's got like the little Power Core Combiner pegs. It was in robot mode, and I transformed it into jet mode, and actually I quite like the transformation. It makes a pretty tight little jet. I think he's missing. I think that's a 5mm peg in the front there for something that I haven't got, but it's all right. These power core combiner core bots are actually quite good. The actual power core combiner sets themselves are a bit naff, especially with them stupid drone limbs that plug on and transform into an arm and a leg. They're neither here nor there, but the actual core bots are actually pretty good, and I've got a couple of them. And this guy, I kind of, there's something about it I quite liked, so I decided to get it. And like I said, this is the only thing I bought off Toy Foo all weekend, and it only cost a tenner. So, but that money still went to a good cause, and I managed to buy at least something from the Toy Foo table over the course of the weekend. So that was good. And that was the Saturday. So I went home, ate food, built some Blokees figures, and went to bed and did it all again Sunday morning. Came back in to the site on Sunday morning. Had a bit of bother with the parking, because when I got there they said that the car park was full and to go into the overflow car park on the other side of the island. So when I parked in the overflow car park, there was hardly anybody in the overflow car park. And then when I started to walk across to the Hilton, there was no direct footpath or foot access from the overflow car park to the Hilton. I had to walk across roads, across grass verges, down long fence lines and all sorts to get across to the hotel. And as I was getting back over towards the hotel, I noticed there was some car parking spaces in the car park. So I said, that sign's wrong. There is some spaces. So I went back, got my car, drove out the other car park and went into the Hilton car park and parked up. Now, whether or not this contributed to me getting that really expensive car parking ticket on the Sunday, I don't know. I think they clocked me going into the overflow car park, and the fact I came out of there and went into the Hilton car park, they probably charged me the full amount for the day for just going into the overflow car park for 5 minutes. So yeah, there is that. I did try to use the discount code for car parking on the Sunday, but it wouldn't have it. But anyway, got there on the Sunday. I bought my my budget, the other half of my budget. I had a bit of cash left over from Saturday, which I carried over into the Sunday. So I had a little bit more money going into the Sunday. And there was something I'd seen on the Space Bridge stall walking round the dealer hall on the Saturday afternoon, and I was eyeing it up and thinking, I quite like to look at that. And I went online and looked it up to see what they look like, and they're both repaints of moulds I've already got, but they're black repaints, and they look really, really good. And it was kind of expensive. It was a Takara 2-pack exclusive for £100, and yeah, Transformers United, Darkside Optimus Prime and Darkside Megatron. Yeah, now I mainly bought it for this because I love the War for Cybertron Optimus mould. It's a really cool mould, but to have it in black as Nemesis Prime, I've been wanting to get one of these for years, and that's the main reason I bought it. Now I have got, in fact it's right here, I have got the Takara version of the War for Cybertron Megatron mould, which is pretty cool, but this version, the repaint on this with the black and the teal, it looks really, really good. I haven't actually opened this box to look at them yet, but it was £100 from In Demand, but I had to make a play on that because black repaints. Yeah, got to have the black repaints. So that was the first thing I bought on the Sunday from Space Bridge. Then I went round to In Demand and I saw something, clocked something on the In Demand stall straight away that I wanted, even though it's technically not a Transformers figure. Marvel Legends Superheroes Death's Head. Now, I know this thing was coming out. It was a convention exclusive for a convention in the States, and I missed out on the pre-order when it went up on Hasbro Pulse. But In Demand had a bunch of them on the Sunday. Okay, I will get that. It was 60 quid. It was really expensive, but it is an exclusive figure and limited edition, so you could argue it's worth its price. It's a pretty big figure, and obviously I've got the smaller Legends Death's Head, and this one is signed by Jeff and Simon. So yeah, the co-creators of the Death's Head character. He's still in that later Marvel sort of get-up, which I'm not a fan of. I want them to do a version of Death's Head in his Marvel G1 Transformers original, with that brown sort of jacket and the green cape and all the other stuff. I want him in that look, not this look. But it's still Death's Head, and I wanted to get it because of who it is. I suppose I could have gone over and got this signed by Jeff. Not Jeff. I suppose I could have gone over and got this signed by Simon if I'd have wanted to. But to be honest, I'm not really that bothered by the guests these days. I'm just not bothered by them. I mean, don't get me wrong. David Kay is a pretty big guest, and I could easily have got something signed by him. But to be honest, I'm just not bothered about it. I'm really not bothered. I'm just here for the plastic, So yeah, I managed to get hold of this thing, and I saw it, and I thought, yeah, that's a no-brainer. I've got to have that. So got that from In Demand. Then another thing I'd seen on the Saturday, but decided to make a play on the Sunday because I didn't have enough money left on the Saturday afternoon. G-Works were doing the Nonnef upgrade kits for a variety of different Transformers figures, and I'd seen, was it last year, they did the conversion kit for Studio Series 86 Sludge to turn him into paddles, and I thought I'd like to have a go at that, and also wanted the foot upgrade because that's the one thing I hate about Studio Series Sludge is the fact that when you transform to Dino mode, he's got like his toes sort of hanging down underneath his belly, and I don't like that. And also they do the neck upgrade as well to give him the longer neck. So I went on to the G-Works, and I had a word with the blokes, and I said, I want some of this kit and some of that kit, and I'm sure I ordered the sword and gun upgrade, but I didn't get that for some reason. I'm sure I ordered it because he asked me what colour sword do you want? Do you want the red or the orange one? And it's like, well, anyway, I bought a load of upgrade sets. So I've got the foot upgrade, so I've got that. I've got the neck upgrade to give him the extra long neck. I've got some more neck extension pieces thrown in as well, and then I've got the paddles upgrade, which has got the feet upgrade. You've got the flippers, and then you've got the new head sculpt, the gun, and the gold pieces for his chest and his frill on his Dino mode. So I bought that little lot, and yeah, they were about, what were they, 41 quid. I will get around to building those at some point. The foot upgrade is probably going to be the first thing I'm going to do. I'm kind of in the market for another Studio Series Sludge now, because if I do the full conversion to my Sludge into paddles, then I won't have a Sludge for my Studio Series Dinobot, so I'll need another one. So I'm looking out for another Studio Series 86 Sludge, but don't want to pay silly money for him. I know now that the final sort of Studio Series 86 Leader Class Dinobots come out, everybody wants to get their set Studio Series 86 Dinobots, including me, because I've pre-ordered Swoop from Comics and Cocktails, and I'm just waiting for them to ship it because it should be shipping soon, but I haven't got mine yet. Yeah, so I need another one. If I'd have thought, I would have probably got one at the convention, but I didn't think to look for it. It was only when I got home and I realised perhaps I need another one. So I'm in the market for one. If anybody's got one out there going cheap, then I will definitely make a play on it. But apart from that, that's what I got from the guys at G-Works. Then I went round to Kapow because I was looking at their sort of racks of figures that they'd got, and there's some Studio Series figures on there that I haven't got yet, so I made a play on them. So I got Studio Series Rise of the Beasts Cheetor and Studio Series Rise of the Beasts Rhinox. Now I have got the Generations Rhinox and Cheetor because, well, or like the Generations ones, because I much prefer the colour scheme on those toys. These are screen accurate molds, but I just don't like the monochrome, you know, sort of colour schemes they're doing for them. I just don't like that. I don't like the dirty sort of beige that they got on Cheetor and the greyish brown they've got on Rhinox. You know, I wish they'd have, you know, done them more into Beast Wars colours, but they're supposed to be screen accurate, so I suppose that's why they did it. So, but I did see the Cheetor mould loose in a couple of places, and I was looking at it and thinking, actually, that doesn't look too bad. So I decided to make a play on it. So I went over to Kapow and I bought 2 brand new ones, and that's going to go towards my Rise of the Beasts character lineup. Right, then went back to the Space Bridge because I'd seen another black repaint. Now, you know, I always said, you know, paying 50 quid each for these, you know, 50 quid for a deluxe figure, that is nothing compared to this. This is a Transformers subscription service, TFSS 1.0. Let's open it up. Scourge, and it is, there he is. So this is RID Scourge, but using the Generations Laser Optimus Prime mould, which I have actually got in there. So, but this is a black repaint, and I'm all about the black repaints when it comes to Optimus moulds, so I had to get this. It's, again, 60 quid. But it is a Transformers, you know, Timelines Collectors Club exclusive, so I can understand why it went for the price that it did. And so I made a play on that. I got that from the Space Bridge. So next, I was sort of wandering around the dealer hall looking for things to buy, and I stopped over by the Shins of the Wreckers stall. Now, in the past I've called them Sins of the Wreckers, but it wasn't until I looked at their sign where they're showing like all the lower legs of all the G1 Wreckers as their logo, and then the you know, play on words, the gag got me. Oh, the Shins of the Wreckers. Anyway, now there's a few people in the dealer hall who were doing, you know, boxes of parts. In Demand had a big tub full of spare parts, and I did go over there at one time, and I was looking for a chest piece for this guy, Combiner Wars Prowl, that I bought at NEC Toy Fair a couple of years ago, and as you can see, he's missing his chest piece, so he's incomplete. And I went and bought another one off eBay that was complete, but I was thinking, oh, I'm never going to be able to get, you know, a chest piece to complete this guy, and I was unsure what to do with him. So anyway, I was looking in these boxes of parts on the in-demand stall, couldn't find anything. Then I went round to the Shins of the Wreckers stall, and on the floor they had a couple of small tubs with some loose parts in. And they had this plastic tray, and I looked in and I found the chest piece for what was it? Is it Dead End? I think it was chest piece for Dead End. And then when I looked again, I found the chest piece for Prowl. So this is the bit I wanted, and they happened to have it. It was only £1, so yeah. So the Shins of the Wreckers guys came in clutch, and there we go. He's complete. Finally complete. So I've got his you know, his chest piece is on there now, so he's now a complete figure. He's missing his accessories, but that doesn't really matter. But like I said, he's now complete as a basic figure, and I'm much happier to have been able to do that for him. Then it was like, again, milling around looking for things to buy. Wandered back over to the Kapow stall, and I was looking through their tubs of loose figures, and they had a couple of these things in here, and I was looking online on my phone, I was doing the search online on my phone to see what they looked like, and it kept coming up with the wrong item because I was putting in the wrong name. It's Beast Machine Strika. Now, I looked on my phone. It kept coming up with that. What was it? That Beast Wars Neo Saber back in a repaint colours, and I thought, well, that's not Strika. So then I hang on a minute. I've done her name wrong. It's not Striker ER. It's Strika, Strike A. You know. So I put in Strika, and then it showed me a picture of the robot mode, and I thought, yeah, all right, I'm gonna get it. And Kapow had quite a few of these in their tub. So yeah, I decided to get Strika because Strika. It's a shame she's not in a, you know, that's her normal colours, you know, like the sort of the purpley-ish maroon. But it is Strika. It's a Beast Machine's toy, so it's got really weird hands. It's got a weird transformation. It's got the Gatling gun action and the where's it gone? The friction fire missiles. So yeah, I got hold of her. Not a great toy, but you know, it's the character I bought it for. It's Strika. I kind of like Strika from Beast Machine. She's one of the generals along with Obsidian, and I don't know whether they did. I think they do a smaller one of this that's more screen accurate. I don't know, but anyway, she's all right. She's okay. Bit of a weird bot. I mean, she's got odd proportions, but it's Strika, and that's why I bought it. I bought it for the character rather than necessarily for the toy. I just wanted an example of Strika in my collection, so I went and got her. And then I went over to the Max and Me Love toy store, and me and James Lai, should I say, of Max and Me Love Toys go way back. I mean, we first met at the last auto assembly in 2015, where I went into his stall, and he recognised me off YouTube because he was a subscriber and a viewer of my videos, and he said, "Oh yeah, I know you off YouTube," and I decided to buy Toy World Hegemon, who is up here, and it was 85 quid, and he gave me a £5 discount. And then later on in the afternoon, I went back again and I bought the Justy Toys World's Smallest Transformers Dinobots set, and they are up here. And I bought them off him. And so again, he knocked them down. They were 85 quid, and he knocked them down to 80 for me. And we've been good friends ever since. I mean, I went to the Rollout Roll Call 2016 down at the Radisson Blue Edwardian Hotel, and I hung around with him and Dave Knight and all his mates over that weekend. And then in was it 2016? I did the TFNation. I did the Tom Henson bot lot, and I went on the Max and Me Love Toys stall and sold all my figures on his stall. So I was actually a dealer in 2016. So yeah, I did that, and I've always had a habit of going around and seeing my mate James every time he's at a convention with a stall, and I'll see him and I'll usually get something off him. I mean, last year he did me some freebies. Well, no, what did I buy off him last year? Oh, that's right. That Defamation Space recorder I bought off him, and then later on he gave me that Kingdom T-Rex, and so yeah, he gave me that as a Brucey bonus. But he's a great mate. I've known him for so long, and I decided I had to go around and get something. Now, there had been some things I'd seen on his stall earlier in the day that I was interested in getting, but when I got round there sort of Sunday afternoon, most of those items are gone, and he didn't have much left on his stall that I could really make a play on. So I was looking around and I settled on this guy, X-Transbots Savant. So it's their Masterpiece-esque version of Skids. Now, I've got the official Takara Masterpiece Skids, and that's a great figure. And I decided to get this because I kind of like Skids, and this is just another version of him. And you know, it was from James. Again, he gave me a slight discount on it. He knocked 5 quid off it for me. I think it was 50 quid he was asking for it, but he knocked it down to 45. And that was great. So yeah, I got this off my mate James. I transformed it to get it back in the box. And later on the Sunday, after the dealer hall shut, I went into the quiet room and I was sat down doing my paperwork, and then I transformed this thing back into alt mode to get him back in the box. And yeah, this guy's a bit awkward to transform, especially when you're trying to cram the arms under the hood of the car. It's a challenge, let's put it that way. But still, it's a decent enough figure, and got it from my mate James. So that's that. And James also said to me, he says, at the end of the dealer hall session, come back and see me. I might have something for you. So keep that in mind. Anyway, okay. So next, I went over to In Demand because there was something on their stall that I'd seen previously that I quite liked the look of. And this is a case of Transformers. Transformers YouTuber made me do it. And then you've got that American Transformer or Canadian Transformer. What's it called? JCC2224. He did a video on what do you call it? He was basically going on about mold repaints, and it was the Fall for Cybertron Shockwave being repainted as Air Raid, or they had a bit of a character conflict going on with the character names. Anyway, so I've got the Takara one. So In Demand had this. It's been opened but sealed again. Yeah, Transformers Generations Air Raid, and it's the Fall of Cybertron Shockwave mold, slightly remoulded and repainted into Air Raid, and it looks like that Cybertronian mold. When I look at this mold, it makes me think of what's his face, Silverhawk, for some reason. I don't know why. Why they didn't do a version of this as Silverhawk? They could have done. But got that off the In Demand store. Then, and I was at this point, I didn't have much money left. I think I had less than 100 quid left at this point. And I was milling around looking for things to buy. And then I thought, I wandered over to Rohan's Corner. Had a look through there, and I'd been in his stall a couple of times. I noticed on the Saturday he had a boxed Generations Metroplex for 250 quid, and he also had the Unique Toys was it Ares Predaking set, which Arrowfire bought. Yeah, so anyway, it was in his stall that I remembered that when I went on his stall at the TF UK convention, I remember he had the Robo Machines Boogeyman, but it was missing the tyres, and I didn't buy it. And I'm thinking, I wonder if I can get somebody else has got that. So I went around and I went over to Beyond Technologies. Now I've bought from this guy before. He's that guy who has them glass cases with all the the G1 stuff, and he has all the bagged stuff behind. And I've bought stuff from him before. I mean, I bought my G2 Grimlock from him and my G1 Thundercracker I got from him. But anyway, so I went over to his store and I had a look in his glass case, and sure enough, he had what I was looking for. A Bandai Robo Machines, was it MR08 Boogeyman. So he's got a lot of paint chipping on him and worn chrome, but he has got the tyres. That's the main thing. And there we go. Neat little GoBot type dude. Really cool. I mean, I like my off-road vehicles, and it's kind of like a Beachcomber homage. So yeah, decided to get him, and also he threw in a stress relief Energon cube. So I got that from Beyond Technologies. And then, like I said, I was down to the last bit of my cash, and it was then I went over to Primetime Toys, because there was a figure on there that I wanted to buy. They had that Reximus Prime, was it the Chrome version? And I'd like to get one of those. I've got Masterpiece Grimlock, but to get a bigger, shinier version of that would be great. and they reduced the price to 80 quid. And I was talking to Greg, and I says, yeah, I'm interested in buying this. And he was in the process of, he got one of the ones up from under the table, and he opened it up to show it, and he was just about to buy it. And then I went over my list of the money, the cash that I bought with him, and I found out I didn't have enough cash left. I was gutted. I had to say, sorry, Greg, I ain't got enough money left. I can't afford to buy it. So I had to let him down. I'm sorry, Greg, if you're watching. I'm really sorry. I feel so guilty, so bad about leading you down the garden path and then turning on you with that. And I know for a fact that I ain't going to be able to get that figure at that price anywhere else. In fact, that was a one-time sort of Sunday afternoon convention hall exclusive price on that figure, and I'm really sorry about that. And it wasn't until I got home that I realised I still had money left in my monthly bot haul cash that I could have used to buy it. I could have bought it using my debit card instead of paying my convention cash, and I could have bought it that way, and I forgot to do that. So sorry, Greg, I really let you down there, and really sorry about that. But anyway, with what money I did have left, I then went over to see James again, and I was talking to him, and then I looked over the back because James's store backed onto the Junk Shop Japan store, and I looked over the back and I saw that they still had some of the Earthspark Deluxe figures left, and they'd reduced them in price slightly from the Saturday, so I went and bought hashtag. So I've got all three of them. I've got hashtag, I've got Aftermath, and Jawbreaker, all in the Takara Earthspark Deluxe size. So yeah, got hold of this, and this was 40 quid instead of 50. He'd marked it down, so I paid a little bit less for it. Still a lot of money for a Deluxe. She does look a bit smaller than the others in alt mode, but yeah, so I decided to get her. And then it was, I had 25 quid left, and I was then milling around the hall. This was late on the Sunday afternoon. I was milling around, looking for something. I was looking on the other stalls. What can I get for 25 quid? I can get something for 25 quid, but what? And I found my way back to Kapow, and I went into their tubs again, and I was looking into tubs, and I pulled something out, and I looked at it, and I thought, it's a repaint of a mould I've already got, but it's a character that I like, and I've got the original toy as a comparison. The last of my money in the dealer hall on Sunday, Kingdom Voyager Maximal Grimlock, or the what's it called? It's called the Battle Across Time Collection Grimlock. So yeah, it's Dinobot repainted as Grimlock. I've got the original, Dinobot, well, Grimlock, from the Beast Wars Neo, Beast Wars 2nd lineup. I've got him, GPS and all, because he's riddled with gold plastic syndrome. But yeah, I decided to get this. It's a good mold. It's a good mold. I've got the Dinobot mold. It's a really good mold. But to have it as Grimlock in the white, yeah, he hasn't really got the stripes that Beast Wars Grimlock is known for, because he's like white with sort of tiger stripes on. They haven't really got as many stripes on him, but it's Grimlock, but not as you know it. So I bought this, and that was the last of my sort of TFNation money. But that wasn't all that I got, because there was one more thing. I'd been to see my mate James Lai on the Max Me Love toy store, and he said, come back and see me later, I might have something for you. So once I'd spent all my money, I went back to see him, and we had a little chat. And then we had a bit of a discussion, because we sort of hatched a plan. I said to him that I'd really like to go over to TFCon Toronto. And he said, well, him and a couple of his mates are thinking of doing it as well. So maybe next year, maybe, I haven't got a passport currently, which is a bit of a problem, but maybe next year might make plans to go over to TFCon Toronto. Also, he expressed an interest joining me to do an NEC Toy Fair later on in the year as well. So I've got to get in touch with him, and hopefully either in October or December he can come over, stay over the night, and then we can go over and do the NEC Toy Fair on December 27th. So that's a rain check for later as well. But anyway, he looked down on his stall and he said, here, have one of these. And he's got some of those Super 7 reaction figures. And he picked up the Starscream and said, here, do you want this? And I looked down and he says, oh, I'd rather have Shockwave. So he gave me a Reactions Shockwave. So yeah, it's an action figure and one that barely moves, but it's Shockwave. I like Shockwave, and James gave me this as a gift, just because, you know, I've known him for 9 years. He's such a good mate, and he gifted me this thing, you know, just to finish the convention off. So that was great. So thanks, James. Awesome thing. Like I said, James, if you're watching, I'm definitely open for NEC Toy Fair. Have I marked them on my calendar? Right, so there's one on the 29th of September, and then the other one's obviously 27th of December. Yeah. So there's one back end of September, and the next one's in December. So December 27th or September the 29th, you take your pick. So there, that's it. That's my haul for this year. I wanted to keep this thing nice and short, but as you can see, it's gone out to nearly an hour. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Again, you know, I save my money up so that I can go to these conventions and spend all this money. I'm not made of cash, I'm not made of money, but you know, I'm fortunate that I have a lot of disposable income, and I choose to save the money up over the course of the year so that I can do the conventions. So that's that. And as I said at the front of the video, yeah, I've got the Phantom wristbanditis again this year. So having my wristbands on my wrist over the weekend. It's over a week since I went to the convention, but I can still feel that wristband around my wrist even though it's not there. Got that again. So anyway, that's been my haul for this year. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I've been TFR Wilderness. I'll catch you all next time. Ta-da.